Okay, hello everybody and welcome back. So today's session, you know what it is, the Future Talks conducted by Prayaana. So now before I really go into today's session and give you a little bit of a talk about it, I'm going to first begin by introducing our company, which is Prayaana. Prayaana is a unique employability, entrepreneurship and innovative ecosystem for women. Prayaana Labs give wholesome career support services right from career counseling, training, mentoring, and recruitment services under one umbrella. Now, this is Prayaana Collective. It's a venture by Prayaana. It's a first of its kind in India, being an e-commerce platform which is designated at women empowerment. The platform is uniquely designed with an attractive affiliate marketing model where all the customers are given an opportunity earnings. It's a wonderful place to go shopping in case you're looking for unique, handmade, authentic products. So please make sure to check us out at www.procol.com. So here's episode 4 and it's April 16th. So queries for the day, just make sure you leave it in the live chat below so that we'll definitely answer it at the end of the session. So, this is the session for the day. How to bounce back, tap into your innate potential to become unstoppable. I don't think I need to give a lot of introduction because everybody wants to be wholesome. Everybody wants to use their potential to the maximum and feel unstoppable on the way to, to be following your dream and developing it. So this webinar is by someone very special. Her name is Diana Dentinger. She's here with us all the way from Italy, and she's the creator of Personality and Needs Profile, founder of the Meaning of Life School. She has authored a self-help transformation book, Modus Vivendi, Your Life Your Way. She's also been an international speaker and trainer, and is the creator of the Change Your Game formula. And I've just put up the rest of what she's done. She's an amazing person, and we're so blessed to have her here. And let me just tell you that our CEO of Prayaana, Ms.Chandra Vadhana, she's also going to be joining her today. It's going to be a bit of an interactive session between these two extremely dynamic personalities, extremely energetic, extremely cheerful. I hope you guys all have fun because it's going to be an exciting session. So let's start.
All right.
Okay. Who's up first? We're all excited to start.
Yeah, we both are excited to start. I think we'll start with Diana yourself. Maybe you can start off with how your journey has been and what's this, situation right now. I would say Italy, the condition that people in Italy are facing, and right now in India also we are facing this disease of COVID, and everybody is really upset and concerned and worried about how the future is going to be. And I'm sure you are the right person whom I could think about bringing you to and to speak to our people over here. Why? Because I know you have some tools and strategies to help people bounce back. And that's why the title of the webinar is also about bouncing back, right? So
yes.
Over to you, Diana. Just give us a little more about what this is all about, and then I will come back again asking some questions with you.
Okay, super duper. Welcome, everyone. Today, we are using the world situation to bounce back better than before. And just to give you a little bit of introduction, how I know Chandra is back in 2017, I spoke to entrepreneurs in coaching and was also at a trainer conference, international trainer conference. And so we started to be friends. And then when she won the top 5 women entrepreneurs from the World Economic Forum, then we met up in Geneva. So, I have seen this, she was like a little girl back in 2017. So I want her to giggle about that compared to the blossoming that she really has done. And then I was invited back to India because, this is mostly for you in India. Then I was invited back in 2018 to receive an award, one of the top 100 women achievers, really for the creation of this, personality profile. So I am super honored to be here and help, Chandra's community because, I've got a lot of life experiences even to share, throughout this situation. But I want to start with some really important quotes. And I think that if we talk about too much, about the current situation now, we're missing this opportunity. So I found a quote by Gandhi that I really like, and it is: the difference between what we do and what we are capable of doing would suffice to solve most of the world's problems. So, like, to sum that up, how about just stepping into what you're capable of doing and leave the rest of the drama and all that kind of stuff. So Chandra even said, so I live in Italy, and this was one of the first countries that was, after the Far East, to come out in the news about this. So we've had our cycle of, first the fear, and then, informing ourselves about it. And then now in this stay-at-home mode, somehow, people have gotten to be, so then the cycle is, let's joke about it. And then, people are on and sending memes and WhatsApp and things like that. And I think, after that collective fear kind of settles in, then people are more committed. Hey, we got to see the opportunity in this. And I think, Gandhi said this perfectly. Just the other week, Sadhguru was in an interview, and this is what he said: this is a good time to break the status quo of who you are. Who you are is, who you know to be based on your past experiences and in the present, right? And see if you can transform yourself into a better human being. And so I think that the sooner you can do that cycle of the fear and the anxiety and all that kind of stuff, and just really commit, how is this an opportunity for me to be a better person? And so that's really how, what I've dedicated my 30-year plus professional career to is, training and coaching, helping people be a better version of themselves. Let's put that in a nutshell. I'm going to start off right away, even though, I'm hoping you all stay with us, with an offer for the community. So I have put together on the yourlifeyourwayacademy.com website, where we host all our courses, a course that is called Bounce Back. Of course, that's what we need to do, right? And you can use the coupon code BOUNCE and get this course free. And I want to just make that, real simple. So if you want to stay on to join the conversation and know more about the tools and stuff, great. If not, just sign up for the course. And it includes, a partial personality profile, so you know exactly who you are, and you use that as the foundation of how to bounce back. Because if you go back to any quote, and I'll show you more later, everyone says, know yourself. Well, so we need to get away from just the tiny little tools, and I'll get back into that. Okay, so go ahead, get out pen and paper. I want to make this an interactive, active kind of workshop, so you can write down and do these exercises. And in Italian, we say mi raccomando, which means I highly recommend for you to jot down the sequence of these exercises. It is a process that I'm going to take you on, because now we are in this wave of uncertainty. And what people need is certainty, okay? So first, I'm going to take you through a process that I call bottom up, okay? Because I come from corporate training background, and we use this, bottom up and top down. So first, let's do bottom up, and this is for your well-being. And we're going to start with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. That's been around for so long. So let's just, like I said, just do the exercises. The first thing is for your well-being and your needs. What are you doing daily for your physiology, which is your body? And I highly recommend, right, that you exercise every day. You have some kind of yoga or Tai Chi or Qigong. This is what I do. Practice that might last like 15 minutes. You do something aerobics. And this is really hilarious because my mom is, I guess she's like 82 now. And she was saying, oh yeah, every day I jump rope. And I got a little bit concerned because she lives by herself in America. And I got concerned. I was like, yeah, but don't go, tripping over the rope and falling. And she's like, no, I jump rope without a rope. So she just does this in place, which is great, which is really, the best thing. So you don't need tools to just jump in place for a couple minutes to get aerobics. And then you can pick up water bottles, or if you have little weights, do some strength exercises. And like I said, this better version of who you are and what I'm seeing now that we've been in this phase for over a month is people are taking very seriously their health, and people are committing to being a healthier person. This is fantastic. Use this opportunity. Your physiology. Are you eating healthy foods? Don't go, running to the refrigerator or to the cupboard and just snacking on sugar stuff, as like an emotional thing. Really commit to the fresh fruit and vegetables, the water, okay? Get your sleep patterns. I know a lot of people at the beginning were starting and they were staying up late and watching Netflix and all these, films and things like that. Sure. Go through the wave of a little bit of fear, a little bit of denial, a little bit of getting the information, go through a period of distracting yourself. And then the shorter you can make this, the better. Because the bottom line with this is to change your unproductive habits and to be more healthy. And that's Maslow. Get this right now. Commit to yourself. Then stability. The next thing, we're going bottom up. The next thing is stability. And I'll share a personal story. The father of my children got terminally ill 2 years ago. And at a certain point, there was no more, child support coming in. And at a certain point, we got our electricity turned off. I mean, that is so embarrassing. I have to laugh about it now. I was like, how is it that, the washing machine isn't working anymore? And then I was like, what's going on? And in this mess of everything, online bills, and I guess I didn't pay. And then, then there wasn't really any money to pay. Like I said, this is really embarrassing. And then poof, one day there's no electricity. And anyway, so what we did, because we've had time, we used that opportunity a couple of years ago to go through this bounce back. And that's why I'm saying, I've gone through a unexpected, very emotionally upheaving situation recently, not just his, terminal illness, and then also recent death, to get this straight. Okay. One, because when you're a single parent, being healthy becomes even more important. Stability, that becomes even more important. So let's not think big things. Let's get really down to the basics. So spend a day or a half a day and get out, like do a little balance sheet in your life of money that goes out. And if you've got credit cards or if you've got automatic payments, go through that and get a very realistic picture of what's going on for your economic stability now. I'm not, and then, and then I'm going to get a little bit serious, even though I like to be lighthearted and all that. I'm not joking around when I'm suggesting this. Okay. So make sure you do this exercise, and the sooner you do it, the better. Like if you haven't done anything, there's a balance sheet, we are going through a recession. Get this done soon. And the markers of what goes out, what comes in. And now it is just fine that they can be equal. Okay. And this is not to scare you. The thing about change is these have been disrupted, by fear, by worry. Stop. Just put that all away and get active. Get a plan. And a plan is what makes you resilient. The first part of the preparation of bouncing back is getting this stuff straight. Okay. So what else do you need for stability? It's a wonderful time, even, if you want to dedicate time, not just to your personal growth, because that's coming too, but to what do I really need? What do I not need? What can I clean out? What can I give away? What can I sell? These are things that should be part of your daily routine now, especially at home, to create different environment, a more energized environment. This is all part of your stability. Okay. So, health, even finding finances, economic part. And then when it comes to belonging, which is part of, the third Maslow from bottom up belonging group, it is really important now to get along with everyone. And I'll tell you another touching story that a good girlfriend of mine here in Italy has her sister in Holland. And they had some stupid argument, and I'm going to really be as blunt as that. They had some stupid argument because they don't even remember why they argued, but they haven't talked in 15 years. Oh, guess what? Her sister is now in critical condition. Oh, interesting. Well, so why are you going to wait longer than today to start talking to people, to get along? So what should be also on your calendar, and I'm being a little bit, I'm being very determined with this because I'm seeing how people are crumbling because they have so much remorse or they have, regret. This is not the time. Okay, we're going to take away the pity party of what other people have done, people that have stepped on your feet. This is a time, and I'm going to say it, jokingly, it's time to grow up. And it's time to leave the grudges and the stuff from the past in the past where it belongs and start with a new slate. New slate for your health, new slate with an economic plan, new slate in relationships. So, what we do is, have like a list of people that we want to talk to or contact or keep in constant relationship with and put it on the calendar. Okay, so I come from a really big family. We were like 250 blood relatives at a certain point in the whole family with grandparents, great aunts and uncles, cousins. I've got 4 kids. A lot of my cousins have 4 kids. Okay, so that's a big context. You might have the same situation or not. You might have just a lot of friends or not. But this is a time where in Italian we say unione fa la forza, which is staying united is a force. And that force is the love of belonging. And so make a commitment to yourself as the same commitment, health, financial calmness, because you got a plan, because it's all clear, it's all visible, and a routine of reaching out to people. Okay, this is really, really important. And so bouncing back starts with getting a clear picture and a commitment to these 3, I say, bottom up hierarchy of Maslow. Okay, there's a thing that a lot of people have and have had maybe since they were kids, because sort of the way we're raised as kids is to depend on other people and be needy, as in, I can be happy because you give me this. And this is the time where that paradigm is no longer around, because I see even in these critical moments, there are a lot of people whining about, the politics or the government, and they're in this needy, it's sort of like a 3-year-old behavior, oh, I'll only make my bed if you give me the candy, or no, you just commit to be a good person, a better person every single day with your little plan of action. And then, measure yourself. But like I'm saying, we're so used to needing things from the outside, where bouncing back is shifting this and saying, I have potential inside of me that is untapped, that I'm going to apply and go out there. And there's a coherency, it's an energy dynamics, it's an empowerment of recognizing who you are, loving who you are, and then giving that. So this dynamics of I need that is switched around to I am solid in who I am and I am giving. And that's where there's the power. Okay. And then when you go back, to the Maslow, that is going to make so many, it's going to give you the opportunity to find solutions to any kind of, disturbance that you might have in the other ones. Okay. So like I said, we can wait around for all of our issues to be solved from something or someone on the outside. But just so you're aware, it's an old dynamics. This is the moment based on even the quotes, to be a better person, a better version of yourself. So now what we're going to do, because if you know the Maslow hierarchy of needs, there's 5. After belonging, there is self-esteem and self-confidence. So what I want you to do at the same time that you're doing this bottom up, you're going to be wanting to do a top-down process. The top-down process are existential answers. And they start with, who are you? I mean, that's been everywhere for thousands of years. That has been the question, the question, who are you? Why are you here? Where do you excel? These are the top 3 existential questions that are important to get now more than ever. And I'll show you even other slides of people that say it all over the place. Trainers, coaches, gurus, they all say it to know who you are. Yet then somehow they divert into what I call old school coaching, you know, and I'm coming off very confident because I've been in the industry for over 30 years. And I see that, you know, it's great to spend your time and watch an inspirational video. But if there is no answer for you, top down, who are you? Why are you here? Where do you excel? Then get your little inspiration buzz and then move on and get these questions answered. Because what I call old school is a self-knowing, has been a little bit perverted, not the word I want to use, but by Google. Everything is just giving you how-to steps on a hierarchy of existential questions for you to have the answer to. Who are you? Why are you here? Where do you excel? Because you want to be in an environment where you excel. The what to do and how to do it are very low-level, Google-contaminated society questions to get answered. How to is so generic. Stay high. That's what I say, top down. Because when you know who you are, what you do and how you do it will organically flow out of you that fits who you are. So, you know, I'm not into, you know, cookie cutter kind of stuff. And I'm, you know, part of my mission is to disrupt this sort of how-to cookie cutter industry that we have as in coaching, because now more than ever, coaching is going to really excel. It's really going to be important. And you know, what I say, even in my book, Modus Vivendi, Your Life, Your Way, before defining what you want, know who you are, because of this hierarchy of the importance of questions to be answered. And if you know this man, Alain de Botton, he is the founder of what is called the Life School, and amazing. They have really wonderful philosophical and educational and fun videos. I love the channel. And he said over 15 years ago that like psychotherapy is going to really be important, because he's more of a psychologist, philosopher kind of person. And when he says psychotherapy is going to be the growth area of the 21st century, because of the way we interpret ourselves and understand ourselves, offer people something, and this is what he's saying, offer people something that is higher than just Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And so that's why I'm saying there's the bottom up, but then there's the top down. Get those existential questions. So in, you know, my coaching, and like I said, you have the opportunity to get a program free by using the coupon code BOUNCE at the Your Life, Your Way Academy website. You will go through just a small journey of like an hour and a half to get these answers. Who are you? Why are you here? Where do you excel? So then you can redefine a new where. Because what I see in all my clients is that they start out with where they are now, you know, frustrated, confused, maybe with a big dream inside, but they don't know how to get it. And I take them on this journey of who they are, why they're here, and, you know, who more they can be. What they thought they wanted at the beginning of a coaching process totally changes because of the expandedness of who they are and this openness that where they want to be now seems easier, and it's clearer, and it's bigger than it was before they started. Okay. I'll give you some quotes just so you know that I'm not the only one that thinks that, knowing who you are is important. To know yourself, so this is Dandapani, to know yourself is one of the greater gifts you can give yourself. Most people don't really understand themselves. Great. So how about, getting your personality profile? That's what I'm offering you. Okay. So like I said, hats off to all of these leaders in our industry. They're saying this, yet not necessarily helping you understand who you are. Even Brendan Burchard, he's someone that I've followed for online business creation for many years. And he says the same thing. If you don't have clarity about who you are, where you want to go in life, then it's difficult to get there. No clarity, no change. Simon Sinek, everyone knows him for Find Your Why, but what he says in his videos is, your why is a statement of who you are. So in a provocative way, I say, why didn't you just start with who then? Okay. And who you are, and you are who you are, no matter what you do or where you go, of course. And so very often in the coaching industry, and I want this to be interesting to you as even a thought-provoking journey. Old school is work on an area of life. You feel like you're frustrated. So I'm frustrated in a relationship, or in my finances, or in my health, or in my, business. And then you go to work on that area of life. And I say that is old school. It is more tiring. And it is a lot less effective, because if you take you as an incomplete person, as let's say you know yourself 75%, you're taking a you that is only 75% self-aware, 75% living your potential, and you go to try to improve an area of life that just mirrors your incompleteness. You can't, like blowing up a balloon or pumping up a tire of a bicycle. You can't pump that area of life up to 100% unless you are that first. So that's why I say, when you begin with getting more clarity on who you are, and they all say it, why you're here, where you excel, then you simply take this bigger, better version of who you are when you naturally interact with other people, and when you are working on your business, and organically that area of life will improve, not because you work on it, because you are simply more aware of the potential that you bring. I hope that's clear. Okay. So did you do these first exercises? The one about, or jot down the sequence. The process is physiology, stability, especially economic, belonging, and then who are you, why are you here, and where do you excel? Now you can answer those questions, but I'm going to take you then through what I do in the coaching journey. I created, and there'll be an ebook coming out soon. It's the 12 moving pieces to 21st century coaching. And this is based on both the personality profile and coaching methodology that I created called Your Life, Your Way, which is just a reverse engineering of my experience as a neurobiology therapist, unblocking psychosomatic illnesses, because we have predictable thoughts and emotions. But what we studied in this neuroscience is that personality is actually innate at conception. And so the thing about understanding who you are cannot necessarily be something that you get in just a psychometric test when you want to identify what type you are. You're not just one of, 8 types. You're so much more. But those are great. Those were great beginning steps, the psychometric tests that have been around since the 1920s. I think we've evolved a little bit more than that, but they're still popular, especially Myers-Briggs. It's used in the governments, which is why they just have millions of downloads, even though, I've talked to people in the, American government and consulate and embassies, and, they look at me like, why are people still using it? It's a great first step, okay? But we've advanced so much further than that. with bringing in the neuroscience and understanding that you can take a test and define how you behave, but there's so many more layers to that. And the beginning layer is a project in your DNA, okay? And that comes out with words. So if you want, play along, write, identify yourself, writing 10 sort of juicy words that describe who you are. Because this is who you are now in your amount of self-awareness. And, just play along. We need words, even though it's very mental, and it's not the end thing that I really want people to do is hang out with words too much, because words mean that we're mental, and that means we're actually sort of disconnected from an inner knowing that is so much better. But, I'm continuing to talk, even though you can go ahead and write down, and Chandra and Chelsea, who are also on this call, write down the 10 words that describe yourself, okay? If you have studied any futurist, and I've been, studying even Yuval Harari years ago, this has been coming, that just based on technological changes, we will need to reinvent ourselves every 3 years. So I'm reinforcing again, if you're not getting the message, I'm reinforcing, now's the time. Take advantage of this opportunity, become a better person now. Know yourself, why you're here, where you excel. 3 existential questions to get the answers to, because this is just the beginning of cycles of change that will come in, and not because of necessarily health issues, but because of technological changes, okay? So let's get this. So innate, what I say is, 21st century coaching starts with you, who you are in your DNA. This comes out though in your words, but it's a lot deeper than that. How I want to even sort of revolutionize the coaching industry is giving coaches more scientific background that I studied as a neurobiology therapist with the psychosomatic illnesses, because there's so much more to know about how we are, conceived, and the formation of, DNA and brain and tissues, and how personality is already there. Now, the symbol in the middle is one of the models that I use, and it is about the 12 different facets of personality. That's why I say you're not just one type, you are so much more, okay? Now, there's one thing that's DNA, and I will say this, if you have any spiritual preparation, in my research, okay, being innately knowing who you are is something that is in your DNA as personality, as innate talents, at conception in your DNA, forming your brain to every cell and tissue of your body. And then this becomes you and sort of your life project, which would be your personality. Then if you believe in a soul, right, that there's a moment in which there is a different life force or a combined life force, there's a blending of what I call like a soul memory together with the DNA memory. And not necessarily can that be fully separated to really understand what the difference would be between, let's say, a past life experience or an experience that was lived by a grandparent, for example, okay? But this information from the soul, what I'm finding, no, I do want to tell, I have clients that are atheists, okay? So not necessarily, I don't want to say that this kind of stuff exists. We don't have proof necessarily. But if you have some kind of spiritual inclination, then I do want to give you this information about innate, So in my recent research, there is a place in, let's say, the thymus, the fourth chakra area that we're calling a stillness point. And that's like the home of this inner knowing. But being that you're in a 3-dimensional body that is made of matter, okay, the soul is here for you to have a human experience, or you wouldn't be in a human experience. But so there is this stillness point that wants you to live your potential. But first, from my experience, okay, first you aligning to your personality and your life project, like why you're here in this moment, historical moment. And when you have, it is an energy coherency of information, because you know the universe is just a bunch of like mathematic code information, right? When you have this DNA knowing of personality and life project, that is when the stillness point is able to communicate with you. Now, a lot of people would have put that in the third eye area or in the pineal gland. My research is showing me that there's more information in the soul, inner wisdom space in your body. And like I'm saying, you can, the next step after stepping into the potential of your personality, being more of who you are, is increasing your soul communication. And I'll even call that like telepathy, because then you will be in a vibration of synchronicity to be the right person in the right place at the right time. And that is where, when I say, you know, part of my mission is to sort of up-level the coaching industry, is where you really don't need a lot of the things that have been proposed up until now, wonderful, great first steps, like, you know, limiting beliefs or working on your mindset, because that's not the goal. The goal is to know who you are and why you're here, and have an energy of empowerment. I'm here for a reason. And then like this little light goes off, and there's a higher energy that facilitates opportunities coming to you to be more. And if you're a newbie at personal development, this is a big, giant step. What I'm seeing in my clients is that they can get an instantaneous, you know, sort of self-knowing through their personality profile, and then they can start being it. And after a couple of weeks, their energy shifts. After a month, opportunities come. And then there's like a 3-month integration process. And when they're committing to really being, practicing, because you got to practice being who you are, and connecting on all these different sort of levels or planes of existence, then there's an inertia of energy that is facilitating things within the flow of positive opportunities. And that's why, you know, getting back to, you know, sort of the opening, you know, what's going on right now, delicately, I'm going to say, who cares? In a fine, that's outside of me. That's outside of my control. What my control is now is to make sure every day I'm a better person. And that is, like I said, do this bottom up, and then add the top down, and you'll see that your energy changes. And, you know, like I said, we've had a couple really tough years. And so I went through our family bouncing back way before the current situation, which is why I'm feeling more productive than ever and not getting involved in the collective consciousness of the fear. Okay. So like I said, the tools that I use, there's a lot of, you know, DNA and all that kind of stuff. So what we use instead of like personality types are personality needs, and they're in your DNA. So you like have to do them. It's like your body that needs hydration, and you drink a glass of water. You have stuff inside of you that is just yearning to be expressed, for you to do it. And it's like, knock, knock, you know, here I am, be this, do this. But it's not necessarily, because personality is complex, it's not necessarily something that you can figure out on your own which of your personality needs are yours, and then what facet of personality they're in, because there's 12 different parts of personality. And actually there aren't. There's 26 facets of personality, but my clients can handle 12. And when they work for me for over 9 months, then we'll do all 26, but it's a lot. That's what I was saying, you know, personality, there's a lot of stuff in it. When you are, when I talk about the 12 moving pieces of this methodology, when you know who you are, it's mental with words, right? But there's something that's going to feel like in your body, like it's going to, you know, people that are saying they're public speakers, you know, they have this stuff like in their body, and, you know, if they don't speak, then they get a sore throat. You know, that's a psychosomatic illness. Their body, there's parts of their body awareness that is brightened up so they can become more of who they are. So you want to be very connected to what your body is telling you, because when you're disconnected to who you are, that's where psychosomatic illnesses come. Okay, the body will manifest something that has meaning that you won't be able to understand, that you'll maybe just take a pill to get rid of the symptom. But no, it's there to remind you to be connected to who you are. There's a lot of science just about the body. And then I talk about the brain. Now, the thing about the brain, and the exercise for you to do now is draw how you see yourself. All of my clients draw pictures because there is a principle of the brain, which is more important than mindset, is that the brain functions with images. It's symbolic. So like I said, draw a picture now. You did words. So that's your mental understanding. When you say those words, how does it feel like in your body? But then draw a picture of you doing who you are. And why it is so important for you to draw a picture. And then when you get into the bounce back course, make sure you follow the process, because part of the process is drawing your self-image. A picture paints 1,000 words. Remember that. So when you have a clear image of who you are, it's not just knowing, it's not just feeling, but you've got an instant like photograph. This is the moving picture of me being my maximum. That is going to energize you so much more than any kind of affirmation or, you know, limiting belief or mindset work. Old school. Okay. So this is like a client, how she draws herself at the beginning, very simple. And when she knows the core 3 facets of her personality, how that changes and how it clicks, you know, how she's supposed to show up in business with her 3 kids, with her husband, with her family. It just clicks. And so she doesn't have to think about being herself anymore. She just is, because her brain has registered that image. And that's why I say catalyzing, you know, you want to catalyze now more than before, fast change to be your potential. So you don't have to figure it out, and you just are it. You know, that's the beauty of, you know, understanding. So in the bounce back, you start with knowing the foundation, the first core 3 facets of your personality: yellow, red, and blue. Then later in the process, I do talk about, you know, a little bit of the psyche. There's a lot to understand about bringing subconscious thoughts to the conscious level. It's fun, you know, like I'm an extroverted person when I'm on, you know, conferences and webinars and things like that. But half of my day, at least, is pretty much in silent research. I'm a science nerd at the heart, because I love human nature. And I don't know if I got this genetically, but, you know, my father was a human resources director his whole life and then became a leadership consultant. So I grew up in a family where, you know, antique philosophy, where, you know, performance, you know, it was just part of life, you know, and, you know, so I felt like my parents always coached me to be a better version of myself. And when I made difficult decisions, you know, like divorce, and you know, they were, you know, we trust your judgment. You got a good head on your shoulders. And so maybe not everyone has had this kind of upbringing. But you know, it's just part of the way I am, which is, you know, why I've dedicated my life to, you know, personal and professional development. So like, I explained what energy is like, and the energy of you being who you are creates a quantum coherency that when you do who you are, because we're not here just to be, please, we are here to do who we are. Okay. When you do who you are, there's, the neural stuff in the brain that's practicing, that's giving you neural synapses that are more automatic for you to be in your potential. Doing you brings quantum light into your cells because they're like, wow, you're on fire, quantum light regenerates you, which is why you feel younger, you feel healthier, you feel happier. And it sets in all like the happiness hormones that is not, a temporary addiction thing like winning a video game. We're talking about something totally different. We're talking about you regenerating energy inside of you simply by being who you are. Okay, and it is true. You look younger, you feel better, To conclude this, the part, and then, Chandra, she has her personality profile, and, she can give you some little tidbits about that. The last thing in the process of this coaching methodology is other people, things that are outside of us. Things that are outside of us are things that we need to use to mirror back to us about what to improve. Okay. When you're in a learning mode, you can use outside, people that maybe bother you or, titles of books, things that grab your attention, and you can use them to ask yourself questions in a learning process. Oh, what does this say about me? How can I improve? And also, oh, what does this say about me that reminds me about my potential? Oh, what does this say about me that confirms I'm on the right path? And so this is what all of my clients say, is that they will, a story of even one of my clients in India. And he writes me a WhatsApp message one day, and he says, Diana, you'll never believe this. And I'm like, oh, you know what? Tell me. And he says, I'm in a foreign city, but 3 people have come up to me asking for me directions. Is this mirroring my core personality need that's called what I call the entertaining need, which is sort of being like a guiding light for other people? And I said, that is so hilarious. Yes, it is. So I want you to understand the journey, the Prayaana that he went on of integrating who he is to the point where without having to consciously do who he is, his beingness is like a shining light for people to say that he's the go-to person to find directions, even though he's in a foreign city. And that's why I say this is a very rapid process where others can either pinch your buttons to show you lovingly how to improve yourself, or others will confirm that you're on the right track, on the right path, on the journey of who you're meant to be. And it is so amazingly fun. So the thing about being yourself and your potential is it like tickles you. It's like having, bubbly stuff inside of you all day long, because it's just so fun. The funnest thing is to be you. And you don't have to be, extroverted or, have like an explosive kind of, laughing personality. You might even be very serious. But if you're in, you're just reflecting on life and but there's these little happiness bubbles when you are being who you are, okay? So, I ran you through a little bit of this methodology because, it is my offering, and even to help people now that maybe hadn't thought about going on a personal development journey, or are in the moment to feel that this is a time to either reinvent themselves or ground themselves more in their potential to create this inertia of change that's starting within, you know, and even, you know, to sustain people economically. Like I said, it was really embarrassing to not have money to pay my electrical bill. Okay, so I know what it's like when all of a sudden there's something unexpected and you're like, oh my gosh, how are we going to pay this? So, you know, this course, the Bounce Back, which is, you know, the core 3 facets of your personality, helps you go through sort of a life purpose journey in a video series that takes you, you know, an hour and a half. It really is, you know, let's say my give back or contribution. So, you know, first it was $47. And then I was like, no, people really need help. Now it's $7. But if you use the coupon code, just get it for free, you know, fine. If you are energized, then this is going to be like the ripple effect. You're a better person. And then this is going to catch on. So, you know, this is a special offer, especially for Chandra's community. But hey, if you're in a family, and I say, because a lot of my clients are, you know, high-level entrepreneurs, they will have their wife coached, they will have their teenagers over the age 14 also coached by me. So get your family members, go through the journey together to be able to sustain yourself even more. Part of the journey where it begins is that you will, you know, go ahead and log into the Your Life Your Way academy.com website, you know, name and email, you know, create your account, and then go to the courses, click on the Bounce Back, use the, you know, the coupon code, it'll be 0, and, you know, just start the course. You will be asked to fill out an open-ended questionnaire. It will take you about 15 minutes. So don't sign up for the course and then not commit to yourself and do it. Make sure you fill out the client questionnaire and start the journey so you can get your personality profile. If not, it's wasted time. And I say this very, you know, delicately or bluntly, that I have courses where people do sign up and pay and never fill out the client questionnaire because they're not committed enough to their personal growth. And I've recently emailed people saying, you know, last chance to be in the course. Are you going to start it or not? And people start getting in their head and, oh, well, you know, but I need to move. No, but I need to do this. BS. Now, more than ever, is the time for you to be the best version of yourself. Period. Bottom up, top down, get these answers, because this is only the beginning of a change cycle. And I will sign that that is going to come, not just from technology, and that was foreseen. You know, look at how Uber substituted taxis. There's going to be a lot of changes. The only thing stable in your life right now, in moments of uncertainty, is that you can be who you are. That is the only constant. Everything else outside is going to be changing, which is why you're going to be really needing to ground into who you are. So I have a lot of quotes by, you know, millions or, you know, TEDx speakers that have millions and millions of views. And they say, you know, your job is to be better and better. Lisa Nichols, wonderful speaker. So many. Who are you? Who are you? You've got stuff inside. You've got stuff inside. So now this is your time to discover that. And, you know, thank you for being here. So let's get on. Chandra, wonderful. You take over.
Wonderful. That's what I have to tell you. Amazing. I have personally gone through your coaching program. I've you know, completed that entire process of 12 facets. I mean, 12 personality needs and all. I've done that. And this we did around 3 years back, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And one thing at that time, and as you said, I have also, you know, transformed or blossomed into something what I'm enjoying. I maybe 3 years back when I did your your program, at that time I had this confusion in my mind. What am I doing? What am I, you know, what my personality is, and whether I'm on the right track. But right now, I think I'm being what I am. Right? So
I can confirm that.
yeah.
I really can confirm that. You're doing exactly why you're here. And
Exactly.
it's energizing, isn't it?
Yes, it is energizing. And I think that also answers the question. A few of the people have asked this question: how do I, sustain the energy? How do we sustain our energy every day? That is one. Another person has asked, in our doing so many things, but then many times we are not organized. How do I again, get back that energy? I think it's all connected to what you have been talking right from the beginning till now, right? It's about knowing who you are and connecting that, or rather becoming or being that ultimately matters, and that is the energy, right? So that's
Yeah,
something which,
I think that there's a lot of techniques. People know that they have to be a better version of themselves,
right.
but then they'll like try. They're like, okay, well, let me be a better person, in my body, and they'll do the yoga. Oh, well,
Mm.
no, let me be a better person and just like drink smoothies. Oh, well, let me be a better person and start meditation. But I can tell you, because I've worked with spiritual healers. I mean, healers, like people
Right.
that someone comes up in their, in a wheelchair, and they just do this with their hand, and the person gets up and walks. I've
Correct.
seen a lot of really interesting things.
Yeah.
And one thing is, you can get healed from a physical ailment, but unless you know why you got it, like where is the disconnect in my personality,
Mm.
then, because I've got the science background, in a cycle, it will come back.
Mm.
Because the lesson in that is, you have the physical illness, but it's a message to communicate to you, where are you disconnected from who you are and why you're here.
Mm.
And so I've seen people in the spiritual new age world, and they want to meditate all day. And a part of me says, there are people and spiritual gurus that I believe that is their life purpose.
Mm. Correct.
The majority of us normal mortals are here to work to make our life better and other people's life better. Be it that you are a street cleaner, or sell vegetables in the market, or you're a CEO of a company, or you have you sell fingernail polish. It doesn't matter. There is no better or worse. It's what you do that you love so much. You might be an esthetician, and you research all day fingernail polish stuff. Great. You're gonna paint the fingernails of your clients.
Exactly. That is your life purpose.
Yeah, because your life purpose is beauty, and because you've got that also in your personality.
Right.
When beauty, then a part of your day you're going to spend with
Right.
colors, and eating slowly, and savoring life and the little pleasures, and putting the flowers on the table. You're going to do that, and it's always an expression of your personality. But so I think that there's I'm going to come out with sort of a thought-provoking statement. I think a lot of the things that people were doing at the end of the 1900s, the beginning of the 2000s, I think there was a movement to more holistic things.
Exactly. Right.
But I think that some people have gone overboard in just the meditation as a solution, where if you don't know who you are, what I find is that you're just like a little box. I prepare props sometimes. You're just like this little box, and you bang around the corners of the little box trying to get answers. But the thing is, you need to put new awareness
into
the box.
And actually the box also shall be, removed. You expand outside the box.
Yes. But so you can be meditating, and I know a lot of people, and they say, oh, but my body vibrates and I feel good. Okay, and my question is, I meditate, just so everyone knows, I do, but I have a very fast process, because in my research, I'm seeing that, I'm going to say another thought-provoking, when you know who you are, and there's clear, and you love who you are, and that's what I call the stillness point, and you're connected to the greater sole reason for you being here on earth in this moment,
Right.
it can be a meditation that can last 20 seconds because you are so loving
Right.
and you just connect and you shoot out, millions of firecracker chemical, brightness sparks or whatever. And it is the power of intent to be more of who you're meant to be. That is a faster meditation process. And like I said, it can last for 20 seconds because I'm seeing spiritual healers do the same. Instead of doing hands-on massages and healing in person, I'm seeing them do that in 20 seconds and getting results from their clients from physical things. And so what does that tell me? That tells me that there's energy is moving faster and you don't have to beat around the bush. I enjoy a 20-minute meditation because I'm very mental and I'm very creative. And at a certain time, I got to turn it off and I just have to. But I'm seeing that I do that as tender, loving care to myself to turn off for 20 minutes, sort of like, a power nap would be or something in a meditation. But I'm seeing that from a creative, energetic perspective, it can be done in 20 seconds. It can be done in the instantaneousness of intent.
In fact, there are a lot of Indian, according to Indian philosophy and tradition, I think even meditation and yoga originated from here. And one thing that we talk about is that whatever you are doing with full consciousness is actually meditation. So even if you are eating, you are drinking water or even doing something, whatever you are doing. But if you're fully conscious and doing that, that is actually meditation, right? But
yeah, exactly.
most of us are not able to do that because we are filled with a lot of thoughts in our mind and we do not know how to do that process. I think.
Yeah, well, thanks for saying that. Because another thing that I will add, when you want to bounce back, part of that is slowing down.
Yeah.
Because it's not, I'm going to have my list. So I gave everyone a list of things to do. And I think it's to your benefit to do them because that's what, our family had to do with, unexpected illness and death. That's what we had to do. And it really served to get that clear snapshot picture of life. Okay. And, there were a lot more emotional traumas. So, now not necessarily do you have emotional, trauma, but get the plan clear. But it's not a process of going faster. It's not a process of doing more. Exactly what you said. Slow down, breathe, and then do things consciously. And in that, when you're doing who you are consciously, and there's this gratitude and appreciation, and there's this, I'm being who I'm meant to be. Maybe I don't see the return right now in something tangible, but that's where spirituality needs to come in. That there's just the faith, if you want it, it's not even like the right word, that this energy coherency will align me with synchronistic opportunities to be more of who I am. And that is just a regeneration. And it is daily in the flow. I think when people speak about being in the flow, time passes by that you don't even realize that you're doing things. And that is the state when I'm saying,
correct.
The next step is to refine. The next step is to refine this telepathy, but it would be from a synchronistic point of view that in that moment when you're like conscious and you're doing who you are and you're like, I need to walk out the door and walk down the street. Something's waiting for me. and you won't know, and it doesn't matter because you don't want to be up in your head, but there's something that is sort of pulling you. There's something that's pulling you to that experience, and trust that. And that is where this whole journey of beginning with a very, fun little process of knowing who you are, this is how your journey evolves into this synchronistic space where any kind of fear of what goes on out there doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't, you don't dedicate time and energy to it. And if you don't dedicate time and energy to it, it can't pull you down.
Exactly.
Okay?
That's wonderful, Diana. I think right now most of the people are getting bothered about what is happening outside, whereas people who are probably in the state of what you mentioned right now are never bothered. People would be actually working to improve themselves, and this is an opportunity. In fact, even in my own case, I have taken this lockdown period as an opportunity to work on some projects which have been pending for long. One, secondly, I also started a small new business. So it is like I think this is an opportunity. More of it's all about our mindset, right? So amazing. Thank you, Diana. We have actually run out of our time. It's already 1 hour. And we most of the questions, as I said, which have come is more about, I mean, you have covered all the answers in your throughout your sessions. The questions are all connected to energy. How do we know more about ourselves, and everything is all something which you have covered already. So people who are wanting, or people who want to ask more questions, I would replay the entire video, that webinar that Diana has completed right now, and then you will find all the answers in her session. That's what I understood. I mean, the questions are
Yeah, okay. And then, well, what we can do is we can sort of get the ball rolling and have, groups of people in the bounce back course. And then we can actually invite them to like another live call, or they can, there's a part inside the course, there is a form they can fill out when they finish if they have any questions. And so then we can just organize with the community of who's there. You can go through it, your team can go through it, and we can have, either a full afternoon or a Saturday morning. I'm thinking of doing like a format of what I call like the bounce back boot camp.
Okay.
And it's just, full intensive. And, maybe I can get more savvy with Zoom calls, so we can do breakout rooms so people can share, how do you speak to yourself? How do you see yourself? What are your talents? How is this applicable to how you're going to either reinvent or recreate yourself or step more into your potential? And how do you see this, and draw the picture and make it really fun, make it a fun workshop that we can do now, because there is this technology and availability for us to connect everywhere in the world in, on just live calls. So, yeah. So
okay, excellent.
Yes.
Just before we conclude, Diana, I was just thinking, your methodology as well as your entire coaching, whatever you have done, it's your life's work. I know you have put in several, decades of research on bringing out this kind of a personality, tool, I would say. I think, I personally believe, and I wish that this should go to more people, and there should be more Dianas, more coaches who would be using this methodology. So why don't you tell about your, helping more coaches probably getting accustomed to your methodology?
Yeah, well, I do have a coach certification program, and I've even decided to do a sort of pay what you can. I think, okay, so I'm American, but I've lived in Italy for over 30 years. I travel all over the world. So I'm not in just the American mindset that is time is money, and I don't like those, like, oh, this course is only $10,000, or it's only $5,000, or only $1,997. That drives me crazy. There's no flexibility in that. And so if someone either wants to be a coach and they know they've got that stuff in them, or someone is already a coach and they want to integrate these kind of tools in there, then, let's hop on a call. You can Facebook Messenger me, hop on a call, and let's see where you are. And the coach certification journey is both with me and online. So there's a portal with like 90 videos, because you study the science of behavior. You will be way beyond the preparation of any person in the industry, really, because you'll just have so many answers. Yeah, I think a lot of coaches leave money on the table because they specialize in their niche. Like this is my experience, just for anyone who wants to hang around a little bit longer. Like a success coach will teach someone how to build an online business, for example. But the thing is that when their client is building an online business, they might be having relationship issues. And maybe, let's say, for a lot of women, maybe their husband might not agree, might not understand. And so the thing is, the success coach cannot also help them with relationships because she hasn't trained her clients to see her as someone who is holistic. Okay. So when you are a success coach, relationship coach, a coach of any type, when you can help your client be who they are, and you can give them answers to any situation they have in any area of life. And that's where coaches, when they niche down too much and they become known for their one thing, they're not helping their clients 360 degrees in all the areas of life, which is what I'm saying. Then they have to search for other clients where they could have a word of mouth business doing like I do, the husbands and wives and the teenagers, and then the best friend and the sister. So I've always had an organic word of mouth business because people know that I can help them with any area of life because I start with who they are. I help them find the answers within. So, just to get back to the, coach certification, you don't have to be as nerdy science as I am, but you'll get a really profound background. And if you want to study just 2 hours a week, you can get certified in 3 months. Because, I'm demanding, and I think Chandra is too, we don't compromise quality. It's important that especially for coaches, when other people trust you to help them find answers in their life, for me, that makes me so proud. And it like fills my heart up with, oh my gosh, this person trusts me. I have to be at the top. I have to be humble enough if there's answers I can't give them, yet prepared enough that as many answers as they need, I can. And that's what I really want to bring to the coaching industry, is this feeling so honored and responsible that someone is trusting you for those kind of answers. And I live that with an immense amount of joy. And it tickles me, it flatters me. And I actually get sort of timid, when people are getting, results, or like that man WhatsApping me casually in his life, things that are going on. I feel so humbled and honored. And I blush too. And, I get in my introverted mode because it is such an honor. And there are a lot of wonderful tools up until now that I consider sort of baby steps or old school, because they're way too much about psychology, and people don't want to be analyzed. People don't want to be fixed. They just want to step into who they are. And so, the decades, like, Chandra said, the decades of research, and part of my research was even, I studied how to read faces, how to read hands, 3 years of astrology. I studied with the first man in Germany who ever did the saliva analysis of, I've studied with amazing people around the world. And it was really only till I dove into the psychosomatic illnesses and neurobiology, that personality is there at conception, was I able to make something that was so fast, where it was without my personal interpretation. Because when I explain people's personality, it cannot be me explaining who I am or what I would do. It has to be so pure that this is what it's like to be you. And I have to, then that's why the coaches have to know who they are. So when they're speaking to a client, there can't be me, or in a coach, there can't be any you in that explanation. It has to be just pure what it's like for that person to be them. And there's predictably, there's going to be things they love to do more, and places where they're triggered. And so it becomes a purer type of description than what I've seen experimenting with other methodologies,
Excellent, excellent. Diana, I think we have little overboarded our time. So I know you have a lot of things to share, and probably we can have a next one more session on something, maybe an advanced level or a next level of this. For now, just to conclude, I guess uh, the the bounce course, the bounce back course, which you have launched in your life your way academy.com, and I would request everybody over here who is watching to go and register, as well as not just register but actually undertake the course, and use the coupon code bounce, right? Yeah. And
Yes.
then you get the program, the first three modules of the program, right? The three personality assessments and everything for free. Wonderful. I think that's amazing. That's a great giving back to the society, I would say, Diana. And thank you once again for joining in this session for Prayaana. And what do you, just one as a last 1 minute answer on a message to all the women out there?
I'm going to get back to the stillness point.
Okay.
If in my research, if the male chakra, which is the third eye, is not really how change comes about, and if change and the soul space of communication is in the thymus gland near the organ of the heart, and that's a female chakra.
Oh, okay.
Because but even the chakra system is revolutionized in more modern, let's say, energy work and morphogenic field and all that kind of stuff. But with this soul place of why you're here, closer to a female, and between, because even the throat chakra is a female energy chakra. If this communication space with why you're here in a deeper level is feminine energy, women have a lot more responsibility now to live in a space of self-love,
right,
and vibrate the love of you being who you are. And, I was going to say, not a bad word, but, stop with the body image, stop with, I got, bat wings and I got cellulite. I mean, stop with all the body image, yucky stuff, really love who you are today, no matter how you look or how you feel, angry, sad, or confused. It doesn't matter. Love that person, because that's the beginning of the change. You cannot change anything if you don't have that self-love. And that is where more than ever, the change is going to come about, because more women are not involved in the social media body image, social image, what it's like to be a good woman, okay? Or it's going to be, I love myself the way I am, yet I'm improving my health, my stability, my relationships, bottom up, to be more of who I am. And, be relaxed, be accepting. With female energy is acceptance, okay? And like I said, I come from a really big family. And in that context of 250 blood relatives at a certain time, we had handicapped children, we had Down syndrome children, we have everything, there's everything in the world in a context that's big. And what I learned, especially from the role models of my aunts and my cousins, that we're blessed with unhealthy children is the amount of love, despite the bubble of perfect children or perfect family or fairy tale, Prince Charming kind of stuff. The amount of love and resiliency from these female role models of never giving up, and so I feel like women, because it's more of our energy, the space, it really is more our responsibility to emit a kind of energy of self-love and love and acceptance toward others, no matter where they are.
Excellent. So I think that concludes our great session. Thank you so much, Diana. I'm so excited to see you after a long time, and also to listen to you, as well as I'm sure all of the people who are watching this had a wonderful evening over here. It's evening, I know. It's lunchtime over there, and thank you once again for joining. Over to you, Chelsea.
Yes, thank you, even Chelsea and Chandra. Have a great rest of your day and week.
Okay, so you guys know the next step. So it's gonna be feedback. So what can I say is I was reading through the comments as you were speaking, and there's a lot of love out there, and there are a lot of people thanking you for the session. It was a really great session, man. About understanding what who you are, and and then figuring out what you want. It's important, and thank you so much for discussing. I hope people come and check out the programs you offer. I'll try it too. So this is a talk for tomorrow. It is What is My Superpower? It's a live webinar by Ms. Aditi Radhakrishnan. She's an HR consultant at Mitara Consulting Services. So it's tomorrow. It's at 5 to 6, same time. It's a Friday, so just make yourself available. Spend some time on this. And this is just a timetable for next week. Not next week. This week for the coming 2 days. So tomorrow, like I already said, it's What's My Superpower by Ms. Aditi Radhakrishnan. On Saturday, we have Upskilling to Leadership to Succeed in the Post-Crisis World. And I think that's like really relevant at this point of time. So I hope you guys all make it there. And it's by Yukti Kapoor Mahendra. I'm so sorry with the way I spell the name, but she's the CEO of SBY Academy. And then on Saturday, we have 2 sessions. So this one's from 12 to 1 p.m. And there's a session from 4 to 5 p.m. That is music therapy for mindset shift. So this is by Shiva Parvati. She's the founder of Druta Music Band. So see you guys there. I hope you guys make it, and do not forget to subscribe us and click on the bell icon for all notifications. Thank you. Have a nice day, and see you guys tomorrow.
Super wonderful.